And just when you think it can't get any crazier, people make posts like this. Not Conrad purposely hurting himself to get Belly's attention, like, WTF, she's not your mommy. The level of delusion one must inhabit to confidently post this on the internet is astounding. Because what do you mean, purposefully hurting himself? I didn't think it could get worse than people critiquing Conrad for ordering food for Laurel. But it can. Conrad must be a master of reverse psychology. Belly asked him if the cut was bad. He said, no, not too bad. As in, I can handle it myself. She goes in and checks on him anyway. Sees a blood on the floor and immediately jumps to help him. The man literally tells her, it's fine, it's not that bad, it stopped bleeding. I'm the doctor, remember, you can go. She refuses to do so and helps him anyway. And he eventually allows her. Conrad Beck Fisher, the master of manipulation. Who knew all you had to do was purposely cut yourself and then the love of your life will come to your aid? You learn something new every day. The internet is fun.
Okay, so we're probably getting Conrad's love confession on the beach to Belly in the next episode, along with the bachelor party and him finding out about Cabo and all of that. So I kind of wanted to go in a little bit as to a warning of what we're going to see from Belly, and also kind of a plea to not hop on the Belly hate train, because we're going to be seeing a lot from her, and I want everyone to be pretty understanding of what's going to happen. Everyone obviously knows I'm Team Conrad. Like, he is probably my favorite character. I will always be a Conrad defender. But I am also strongly Team Belly, and I will defend Belly no matter what. She is my other favorite character, and I think that if you truly understand the story and you are Team Conrad, you kind of should be Team Belly too, because it is her story that's being told. It's all about her growth and her mistakes, and ultimately what leads her back to her love, which is Conrad. And I think it should come pretty naturally if you are a big Team Conrad too, because Conrad is the biggest Team Belly out of everyone. Like, all he wants is her happiness. So I will never be someone who says that Belly doesn't deserve Conrad, because I don't think that's true. They both love each other, and if they love each other and want to be together, then they're both deserving of each other's love. And the story is about the mistakes they both make before they can get to that healthy place later on. Anyway, most likely in the next episode, we are going to see Conrad find out about Cabo and the whole Lacey situation, which ultimately leads him to confess his love for Belly on the beach a few nights before her wedding day. And if it goes anything like the books, Belly is going to say some pretty harsh, pretty cruel things to Conrad. And literally everyone and their mother is obviously Team Conrad this season. I mean, we should have been Team Conrad from the very beginning, but obviously he has garnered a huge fan base, especially for this season. And I have a feeling that Belly, like the anti-Belly team, is also going to be going harder than ever after the next episode. And I think we really need to give her a chance and kind of understand where she's coming from when she says these like really harsh things to him. It's important to remember that this speech confession is one of the biggest conflicts of the entire story. Belly is going to be so distraught from this happening. It's going to be one of the most intense and hardest things that ever happened to her, and lead her to one of the hardest decisions of her entire life. She's been in denial for 4 years, pushing down her feelings for Conrad, and now everything is coming to the surface, and she knows that no matter what she does, someone is going to get hurt. She's like in a place that I don't think anyone would ever want to be in, because she does love Jeremiah and she does not want to hurt him. She's made a lot of promises to herself and to Jeremiah that she will always look after him, and that's kind of what has led to like their codependent relationship that they're in now, where she's lost a bit of herself. And yeah, she's like made the mistakes, but the majority of the mistakes that we're seeing now are a result of the mistakes she made when she was in the deepest grief of her life, the loneliest she's ever been, facing rejection, facing so much sadness from Susanna's death and her breakup with Conrad, that she made this decision at 16 years old to be with Jeremiah and to look after Jeremiah. She was so young, and I know she's older now, but she's still so young in the grand scheme of things. And not just that, but she's been suppressing her feelings for so long that she has pretty much completely lost herself. And one of her biggest character traits is that she is a very stubborn character. So she's made this choice to be with Jeremiah. She's made this choice to get engaged to him and marry him. She thinks she has to stick to her choice, and she's going to use that sunk cost fallacy to push Conrad away even further this time. And we have to remember how angry she's going to be at Conrad in this moment. He's waited this long and at this time to tell her how he truly feels about her. And obviously, like, coming from someone who loves Conrad, like, I understand why he did all of this. I think he knows it's wrong to do this in this moment, even though it ultimately is the right thing for all of the characters for him to do this. But like, as far as like him confessing his love for her, as necessary as it is and as good as the outcome will end up being, it is a crazy decision to do. And she's going to be so mad that he is bringing all these feelings back to her and that she has to finally deal with them. She can still barely even believe his true feelings for her. Because again, she still doesn't have access to what we as the audience see how much he cares for her. And him finally confessing how much he loves her, like, she's going to be feeling every emotion possible. Like, literally, in the book, she talks about how he makes her feel everything, like joy, anger, sadness. Only he can do that, and that's what's going to happen to her at this confession. So she will say some harsh things, and it's going to be hard to watch. It's going to be devastating. Amazing television, but devastating. But I just want everyone to still kind of try to give her some grace and understanding as to why she's doing this, because I would say, like, most people would not react that, like, so well to this happening. I mean, I still have no idea what's actually going to happen in the confession. I don't know if it's going to go just like the books, where she is harsh and stuff. I don't know if she's going to have a completely different reaction. Who knows? But if she is like the books, I want everyone to still give her a chance to ultimately find her way back to Conrad, because that's what the whole story is. There's just no need to hate on a fictional character this much for, like, fictional mistakes that she's making in her life right now. She's young, she's lost, and she needs to go to Paris. And that's what she'll do. So, thank God for that. And I am so excited to see Conrad find out about Cabo. His crash out is going to be the best thing I've ever seen. So good. And then finally confessing to Belly, and then I don't know when we're going to get, like, the conversation after. It's just all going to be so good, and just try to enjoy the ride instead of pitting everyone against each other. That's all I'll say. And it is going to be very heartbreaking to watch Conrad receive this. I will probably be sobbing my eyes out for him, because again, he is my favorite character, and I defend what he does also. But it ultimately is part of the story, and it's what leads them to their happiness, so let's just try to remember that too. I want to talk about Taylor telling Bentley when you know at her bridal shower, because I don't think this was just a throwaway line. It was actually a quote that the Instagram account posted, and they post one every week, and it's usually not super important, but I kind of feel like this one kind of reflected a bit of the theme of the episode. This is Belly's face when Taylor says, when you know, you know. She's obviously completely unsure about this wedding. She obviously does not know. We all know this. She is having doubts. She doesn't know if she's ready to be someone's wife. She's not. But she is completely unsure. She does not know. And if you want to bring in Margaret by Lana Del Rey, where the lyrics are, if you ask yourself, how do you know? Well, that's the answer. Your answer is no. That's Belly right here. But let's contrast this to her face after the surfboard accident. She has this knowing look in her eyes, this reflection of knowing something. This scene is not about her realizing that she has feelings for Conrad. It's about her realizing just how deep she's buried and pushed down these intense feelings she has for him, and for how long she's been doing that. Like, over 4 years now. It goes back to the when you know, you know. This is about her knowing this. And it has to do with, now she has to deal with the aftermath of this. She has to deal with the aftermath of, what did I almost do? This is all me. This wasn't like the Peaches. This was all her. And she knows that. She knows her feelings aren't just back. They've been there. And that's what that face means.
Ellie's not the problem. She's also not innocent. If we're keeping it real, from season 1, she was only interested in Conrad. She wanted to talk to him. Conrad was obviously going through what he was going through, so he was being a little wishy-washy, a little rude at some times. But even through that, she knew he wasn't being himself. She would say, like, why? What's going on? You're not being yourself. And the couple times he was going to tell her, he got interrupted. But then they had a moment where they almost kissed, and then they were interrupted by a firework shot by Jeremiah. The next day, Conrad has a conversation with Cleveland. It makes Conrad realize, I shouldn't be in a relationship. I don't want to put her through this pain that I'm going through right now. And he didn't tell anyone about what was going on with his mom. So she says, I'm not waiting for you anymore. Remember back when I said Jeremiah shot that firework to distract him from kissing? So the next day during Belly's night swim, Jeremiah goes in the pool and he says, you're my best friend. There were times I wanted more. This is after she thinks she has no chance with Conrad and says, I'm not going to wait anymore. Keep in mind, she does not think Conrad is an option, even though she's been in love with him her whole life. Jeremiah knows because he interrupted their kiss with a firework. He knows Conrad likes her, and he's always known Belly likes Conrad. She doesn't think Conrad's an option. So after Jeremiah says, there's times I wanted more. Do you think you could ever feel this way for me? She goes, I've never thought about it like this in her head, but yeah, I'm going to kiss Jeremiah right now. Jeremiah's nice, he's sweet, he's being kind, and she just got essentially rejected from Conrad, so this feels good for her. And she did just dump Cam. Is it messy to be involved with two brothers? Yes, but in her mind, at this point, as I've said like 3 times already, she didn't think Conrad was an option, and she thought it was a pipe dream, and Jeremiah would have been reality. Obviously, no drama ensues, and she ends up choosing Conrad when she realizes about him knowing about Susanna. That's why he was acting that way. They have these strong feelings for each other. They're infinite, all that stuff. This love is cute kisses, all that stuff. The next season, conversations are had. She wants to be with him, but Jeremiah gets super pissed off and upset because she feels like he was betrayed. Even though I said earlier, he did know that they liked each other. So it's like, why are you that shocked? Obviously, that would hurt, and he has every right to feel upset. But it's like, you shouldn't have inserted yourself, brother. She doesn't want to hurt Jeremiah's feelings, so she tells Conrad, we can't talk right now, even though they both want it. So time goes by. Conrad reaches out to Belly. They're conversating. They're on phone calls. He goes to Jeremiah, asks for his blessing. He gets it. They start dating. Months go by. Susanna gets worse. She's dying. Conrad knows she's dying. He can't communicate his feelings. He's emotional. Can't process all this. They break up. 6 weeks later, she's pursuing Jeremiah. Obviously, a lot more happened within that, but just to keep this quick. She's pursuing Jeremiah 6 weeks after her and Conrad broke up. They're all dealing with the death of Susanna. Throughout all season 2, she is conflicted. Even though she's pursuing Jeremiah, there's still feelings for Conrad. She even tells Taylor I had a moment with Conrad, and Taylor's like, I don't want to talk about Conrad. Super fast forward to the end. She chooses Jeremiah at the end of season 2 after Conrad had said he had feelings for her, I want you, and then took it back. Keep in mind, 6 weeks after they broke up, she's not over him, and he's not over her. But Jeremiah's communicative, he's open, he's sweet, he's there for her. So even though she may not be over Conrad, she's feeling a lot of joy and happiness with Jeremiah. Conrad's obviously distraught. We hear exile, it's depressing. Show's basically over. Flash forward 4 years. Conrad's in Stanford in California. Jeremiah and Belly are at Finch. They've had a happy relationship. We didn't really get to see it. What do you know? Conrad and Belly are not over each other. Shocker, Belly never really gave herself the opportunity to get over him. She just jumped into another relationship. Obviously, she loves Jeremiah, but we all know at this point, she's not over Conrad. Conrad told her time and time again, you're it for me. I don't know if I could ever get over you. So I'm not surprised by the fact that he's not over her. Plus, it's fiction, so this makes sense. Yearning is a thing. Noah waited 7 years for Allie in the Notebook. It's cool. It's cute. We love it. And obviously, Belly and Conrad are probably going to end up together. We're on season 3, episode 6, and they just had that moment in the bathtub. The fact that I'm trying to recap this so fast and we're still 3 minutes in is crazy. But through all this, I want to say Belly is not the problem. She's a factor. She is problematic, but she's not the problem. Conrad and Jeremiah had issues before she was even involved, and they both fell for her and put her in the middle of it. She obviously has a part to play. She didn't have to get with Jeremiah after Conrad. But to say she is the problem, I just don't think is fair. All of these characters are flawed and imperfect. That's kind of the point.
So this person's comment really has nothing to do with this video. If anything, this person's comment was the most accurate and what I firmly believe. But the amount of comments that I got on that video talking about how Belly cropped up Conrad, how she didn't want photos of Conrad, how she cut Conrad out of the frame. The book is creased. You cannot see Conrad in that photo, making it look like Conrad was cropped out. Conrad, clearly, you can see the photo. He was not cropped out as she was getting ready for her shift at Bears. I probably got at least 20 comments of people being like, I just think it's funny how she cropped him out. No, she didn't. Because Conrad is still, as I hope we're watching the same show. Some of you I really question. But, Conrad is still immensely pivotal in her life and is spending the summer with him. She's still so lost in this relationship with Jeremiah, and just come this week when she realizes she's still in love with him. I swear, some of these comments, they make me laugh.
I haven't been this invested in a couple on a TV show in so long. And I'm talking about a show that I didn't just binge watch randomly. I'm talking about in real time. I'm watching this show. I'm invested. I don't know the end result, unless I follow the books, then I do. And I'm just like, if it doesn't go the way I want, I'm gonna be angry. And the reason I'm gonna be angry is not because I ship them so hard and I really enjoy them as a couple, although that's a significant part of it. It's just clearly, narratively, they've been telling us all along, this is the couple. This is who you should be rooting for. These characters see each other in a way that no one else sees them. They know each other deeply, intimately. The effect these two have on each other, he sees her crying on the bed because nothing's going right with his wedding planning. He doesn't want them to get married. Accepts his brother's best man proposal, bakes her cookies, helps her with the wedding planning, knowing that it's tearing him apart inside. And then there's Belly. She sees that he's hurt and in pain, sees that he's bleeding out all over the floor, and she immediately jumps to help him. This man is wincing in pain while she's helping him clean the wound, and she can't even control herself. Every touch is a reaction. He puts his head on her shoulder and she doesn't even know what to do with herself. She's literally just helping him clean a wound. This is her face after he walks out the door. She places her hand where his head was laying. And I'm not supposed to root for them? Okay, she's engaged to his brother, but they were together first and they never got over each other. Our man just needed to get some help. He didn't know how to process the death of his mother. But now that he's been healing, he's ready. He's ready to get his girl back. Jenny, please don't let me down.
Okay, first of all, this is the hottest scene to ever exist. What Oh my god. And the thing that's crazy, which just like with the Peaches scene, we're all sitting here screaming, just kiss already. But the thing about Belly and Conrad is like, they don't even need to kiss or touch to create this like insane chemistry with one another. These actors just really, by this point, are extremely in tune with each other and just have it. The cinematography clearly leaning in their favor doesn't hurt either. But what's so funny to me is these two people are married. They are married. They planned a wedding together last episode. They live together. They cook with each other. They take care of each other. They look out for one another. They are clearly in love with each other. By the way, this is the hottest this man has ever looked. That's insane. That's insane. But yeah, these two are married. So it is really crazy to watch them cohabitate in Cousins and be so happy, and then hard cut to her and Jeremiah acting like two bumbling 15-year-olds who like met each other once and then realize that that's the one she's actually engaged to. Like, it's insane.
Can we talk about how Taylor is the worst friend with the best intentions? It is very clear that Taylor loves Belly. I would never try and say anything otherwise. But she can't read Belly to save her life. When Steven tells Belly that her memory of Jeremiah rescuing Rosie was actually Conrad, she was shook to the core. She came off defensive and almost angry because she did not want to believe that that story could have been Conrad. Especially since she just told the whole bridal shower party that that was the sweetest thing she's ever seen. Taylor gets up, diffuses the situation, says, I still won, doesn't matter, it's still technically Jared's first pet. And that's all well and good. I don't mind Taylor for doing that. But then Belly sits down, visibly frustrated, visibly confused, concerned. Especially to her best friend, she's a little unsure about this whole wedding situation. And what does Taylor do? Well, Taylor does what she always does. Instead of trying to understand where Belly's coming from, instead of asking her pointed questions to understand how she's actually feeling, so she can get a better grasp on how to respond to the situation, she assumes she knows. And that's her biggest flaw in their friendship. In season 1, she was riding so hard for Jeremiah when we all knew as a viewer she was so into Conrad. He even told Taylor, how am I supposed to move on with Jared when a part of my heart will always beat for his brother? And looking back on that, hearing Taylor's response about a part of my heart will always beat for your brother too, knowing full well she still wants him and is actively trying to be with him. So Taylor, it's almost like moving on isn't that easy, since you can't do it either. But you're pressuring and pushing Belly to go through things that she doesn't want to go through because you think that's what's best for her. Same thing in season 2. Belly saying, yeah, me and Jeremiah have been connecting this summer, but I did have a moment with Conrad. I don't want to talk about Conrad, Taylor says. Dismissing how Belly feels because she thinks Jeremiah is better for her. And she does the same thing in this scene. Just ignores Belly's worries, ignores Belly's concerns, and says, you're really lucky that you found your person and that you know what you want, when she's clearly stating in this moment that she doesn't know what she wants. But we all know what she wants.
I haven't seen a single video about this, but I have been thinking about what Belly was humming in the shower for like the last few days. And I was like, I know that tone, like I know what that is. And then I opened Spotify to go to the Summer I Turned Pretty playlist because I was looking at this every summertime song that I'd never heard of before. And then I saw Complicated by Avril Lavigne and I was just like, that's it. I knew I had it like right there, but I was like, what is that song? Because this is the part she's singing. She's like, you've become somebody else around everyone else, right? Like that's what she says in the shower. It's extremely clever. Like, this song is about not being true to yourself when you're with other people and like trying to put on this front, right? Like you're trying to make yourself look cooler in front of people. And I think that applies to both Belly and Jeremiah. Like, you've got Jeremiah going from frat bro to corporate bro and trying to like mirror his dad and kind of changing who he is a little bit in front of certain people. And then you have Belly, who is completely different with Jeremiah and Conrad. And so it's just a great way to just kind of tell the audience that both these characters, I think, are just not being true to themselves. And I think that's because they lack their own self-identity and they're not growing with each other because they have to grow independent of each other. So very cool. I don't know if anyone else figured that out. Maybe I'm slow to it, but there you go.
I need to talk about what a massive deal this scene was. Let's talk about the obvious first. She was taken aback, and not in a good way, when she saw the name Isabel Fisher. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with Jeremiah. This is the episode where we first saw her having major doubts about him. I feel like in Conrad's POV episode, we kind of started to see it, but it was more subtle. Here, in this episode, even Taylor could tell that something was up. Her at this bridal shower, her going to the club and seeing the space where they're gonna get married, her seeing Isabel Fisher written down in front of her face. It's all starting to become real. She rushed into this. She has not thought about it, about how serious it is very much. And it's catching up to her. And so yes, there are very obvious cracks in her facade. But there's also like a much deeper meaning here. I know it's something that fans have been saying all over TikTok, including me, for the last several weeks. A lot of people picked up on it when we didn't hear her narration as much. The fact that Belly has completely lost herself in this relationship. She's putting everything she has into Jeremiah. She's the one making all of the compromises. She has to be the responsible one all the time. She's kind of like his mommy. And I think seeing that name written on stationery in front of her face is kind of like her first light bulb moment that this is the case. She sees Isabel Fisher and she's like, oh my God, that's not me. And it's also very important that Laurel was here when she had that moment. First of all, we know that this is exactly what Laurel was worried about. This is why she was so completely against the wedding to begin with. But Belly having her mom there and supporting her and showing her love, even though she's not completely for this wedding still, it's kind of like allowing her to see, like, okay, she may have had a point. And Belly and Laurel were like both so stubborn at first, and Belly was never going to listen to Laurel's point when Laurel was like refusing to give Belly support. But now that she knows like her mom will be there and love her no matter what, I think she's starting to, I don't think she's completely there yet, but she's starting to realize and starting to be willing to listen. And I think somewhere in the back of her mind, she knew her mom did have a point all along. And I think Belly really admires her mom more than she even thinks she does. Like throughout the series, we've mostly seen her admiring Susanna and wanting to be like Susanna. But here we see her wanting to be like her mom. You know, she wants to be a woman who still has her independence despite, you know, being in a relationship. And like I said, I don't think she's completely there yet. But the fact that she said this in her narration is proving that that is something that she does not want in her relationship, without even leaving anything for yourself. And I know she's thinking about this in terms of Conrad. And to be honest, I think she kind of did lose herself in her relationship with Conrad as well. But it was for a completely different reason than she did with Jeremiah. I think with Conrad, she had just built this idea of that relationship up in her head for so long that she just threw everything at it when she actually did end up in a relationship with him. With Jeremiah, I think it's more about her feeling responsible for him. And I can't wait for Belly and Conrad to eventually communicate and for her to know that however misguided it was, the reason Conrad left her was because, you know, he knew that she deserved an equal partnership and he wanted that for her, and he knew he couldn't do that at that point, but he can now. And that's like a big difference between Jeremiah and Conrad. Conrad knows, he's aware, and he doesn't always go about things the right way, but he wants what she wants. And I think Jeremiah only wants things more on his terms, at least right now. I hope he can eventually grow. Jeremiah has just like never been willing to make hard decisions and sacrifice so that other people can be happy. He's always kind of been about himself. But since now we know that Belly wants to keep her name, petition for Conrad to change his last name to Conklin. I mean, he got Fisher from Adam. He doesn't like his dad.
Though Conrad Conklin does kind of sound weird. Maybe they can each keep their last names, but their kids' last names will be Conklin.
Okay, the subtext of this entire scene is, I thought it was going to be Conrad.
I mean, she slept in his bed and he cried when the owners came to pick her up.
I suppressed it so far down. And when she starts talking about, I'm going to be someone's wife, I thought it was going to be Conrad. That's the subtext.
No.
Because it's so detached from Jeremiah.
Country club and everything is just starting to feel really real.
And not what she wants.
I was apartment hunting with Jared the other day.
Your husband, soon to be.
That I've been so focused on planning this wedding that I almost forgot that I'm gonna be someone's wife.
Someone. Jeremiah. It's so detached because she's thinking it was going to be Conrad. I thought it was going to be Conrad. I thought it was going to be Conrad. Since I was little, I thought it was going to be Conrad. And now I have to come to terms with the fact that, again, I lost this dream of him. I'm not marrying him.
Did I think you were?
And, like, being in doubt of the fact that she is marrying Jeremiah and trying to convince herself while also still wrestling with this idea of, like, where is Conrad suppressed down? Like, where is he still in her heart, in her brain, in her body? And obviously he comes out at the end, but, like, that's the whole subtext of this scene. I thought it was going to be Conrad. Like, how painful. How fucking painful to come to this realization, or having to come to this realization it's not going to be him. And again, it's like, that's why she moved on so quick. And in a way, that's why this wedding is happening so quickly too. Anyway, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, so I'm actually completely sold on this. I love this dynamic. I want this to be a thing. I feel like it's so much better for Steven. And I feel like what they did with Steven and Taylor in the first few episodes, it kind of like ruined them for me. And I feel like Steven and Taylor are still going to end up being together at the end. For one reason, I think they visit Belly in Paris, like, as a couple. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, like, why even do this in the first place then? Why show us this, like, new, fresh opportunity for, like, a good, healthy relationship for Steven? She's, like, a grown-up. I feel like Taylor is grown up in some ways. Like, she is parentified. She, like, has to take care of her mom. But I feel like because of that, she is immature in her personal life. And it just doesn't seem to work between Steven and Taylor. And they, like, paralleled Taylor and Steven's relationship with Jeremiah and Belly's relationship. Belly and Jeremiah's and Steven and Taylor's relationships seem pretty immature. And we know Belly and Jeremiah are not in game. So I'm like, are they gonna go for this? Because I kind of hope they do. I would actually really like it if these two ended up being endgame. The only problem I see is that they're potentially starting a business together, and that might get complicated. I don't think I'll be mad if Steven and Taylor end up being endgame, but I won't be, like, ecstatic about it either. And if that's the case, I just hope that the rumors of Denise ending up with Jeremiah are not true. Like, Denise deserves so much better. Do not do her like that. And I know some people have been speculating, are Taylor and Jeremiah gonna end up together? Honestly, I don't care, but why would that be a bad fit? Like, it's always been so weird to me how hard Taylor has pushed Jeremiah onto Belly. Like, on some levels, I understood it, but in some ways it was just, like, too much. Like, you know, Taylor, like, if you like what you see in Jeremiah so much, I think he'll be available soon.
I'm still recovering from watching episode 6, but we need to take a moment to appreciate how important the music is in helping to tell the story in this episode. Because I can't be the only one who cried when Belly saw her mom at the bridal shower. And I know I'm not the only one who was gripped by the tension between these two in the bathroom. The use of music in this episode was simply perfect. When Belly spotted her mom in the crowd and it's timed perfectly with Lennon Stella's version of Time After Time, immediate tears. And I love that Lennon's song is the one they used because her voice has such a sweetness and vulnerability to it that it's really fitting for this moment between mom and daughter. Belly and Laurel are both so overcome with emotion that they're speechless, but the music is saying what the characters aren't. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting time after time. We see the same emotional impact of music in the bathroom scene with Conrad. The moment Taylor Swift's song False God starts playing, you can feel it dial the emotions up to 100. That song has such a sensuality to it that there's a reason why it's not the first time they've used it for a special moment between Belly and Conrad. And again, the music is saying what the characters aren't and can't. We were crazy to think that this could work. This is the moment that we know that the tension, attraction, and feelings between these two are mutual. It's not just in Conrad's head, it's not over. 10 out of 10 across the board for this episode. The writing, directing, acting, editing, and the music.
Okay, this is such a good question. Such a good question, and I have thoughts. And also hello to you specifically. And you know why I'm saying hi to you specifically. But hello, this made me very happy to see your name. Anyway, yeah, okay, so I think it's purposefully ambivalent. I think for himself, because he can sort of trick himself into being like, no, I was so out of it, maybe I thought that's how she was looking at me when it's not really how she was looking. So I think it helps him like sort of, you know, tell himself, no, like, it's still just me, like, it's not her. It's like, that's one way, or one reason why I think they purposely kept it ambivalent. But the reason why I think he was aware is because, I mean, this is going to seem so in the weeds, but I don't think he had to look up at her. Like, if he was really struggling, like, using whatever energy he has left to, like, look up at her, I don't know, that seems pretty intentional to me. Like, he was, like, scrounging up whatever energy he had left to make eye contact. And I think they make eye contact, those two. He specifically makes eye contact with her when he's trying to, like, tell her something and, like, wants her to know something when he can't actually say it. And I just think back to the guest bedroom scene, because after he does a certain thing to her, she's like resting on his shoulder, and he like gets her to like look up at him, like he wants to look at her. So I think looking at her and like for them to communicate in that way, like obviously it's important to her, but it's really important to him. And so I think the fact that he used whatever energy he had left to make eye contact to her in that moment, and then he goes on to say, I need to take a nap. I think that's his way of being, or that was his like desire kind of sneaking through, and like his wanting of her right back sneaking through, because he did not have to do that. He did not have to do that. And yeah, it's just that idea of when they're around one another, it's like the elixir. They're so spellbound, but also at the same time, yeah, I think he could be protected by plausible deniability to a certain degree. And I do like that because you know, it is meant to just be about her and her reawakening and her like finally you cannot keep it caged in anymore, her Conrad want and love and desire, like that's all released. So yeah, so I don't hate the fact that I don't know what my dog's doing. I don't hate the fact that it is ambiguous for him, but yeah, I also think it's in my mind, it's not ambiguous. Like, I see him, I see what he's doing. And I also think for himself, he's like, no, I could just pretend, like, not pretend, but I could just, like, you know, tell myself, no, still, like, that's not how she's feeling. Maybe. I mean, it also wouldn't surprise me if the next episode, or what happens next, is I don't know, like, not that he's more, like, and what are we going to do about it kind of thing. Like, not that I see him going that direct, but I also see him being like, well, I clocked your fucking tea. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I like the idea that neither one of them can, like, bullshit the other anymore. So I do like that. That's also a reason why I like the idea that it wasn't ambivalent. Honey, what are you doing? Yeah, but again, I would love to hear other people's ideas, including yours. Yeah.
Okay, I actually agree with this in some ways. First of all, Adam, why does he have a one-bedroom condo when he has two sons? Two sons who have a dead mother. Like, it's not like y'all are divorced and they could go stay with their mom. Like, no, you're their only living parent. Why do you have a one-bedroom condo? And I guess he's had this for the past 4 years because they sold the Boston house to buy the cousin's house. Why couldn't he get a 2 or 3 bedroom condo? Like, I know they're in college and they're grown-ups, but they're gonna stay with you sometimes. They stayed with him in this episode. Adam was talking about them sharing his bed while he slept on the air mattress in the living room. That's insane to me. Just another reason why Adam is like so self-centered. That being said, Belly 100% should have been cleaner while she was staying at someone else's place. Girl, that's just like basic respect. And yeah, I do feel it's a little weird her just having a t-shirt on in front of her fiance's father, even if like he has known her whole life. It's still weird because he's not family the way Susanna was. Another reason you should have another bedroom, Adam, so she can sleep in what she feels comfortable in and be able to get dressed before she actually sees you in the morning. The hair in the drain thing, I feel like, is a little more complicated. Just because, like, when I'm taking a shower, I'm so used to having something in the drain that collects the hair so it doesn't go down there. And I don't know if she has that where she lives or something, or at her mom's house and the cousin's house. So if I'm at somebody else's place, I don't think I would think about it just because I'm so used to what's in my house. But I also understand Adam wanting her to clean her hair out of the drain, I guess. I think the biggest problem is Adam not having enough room for his sons. But yeah, the second biggest problem is Belly just like making a huge mess and not cleaning up after herself.